Your silence is his punishment. The honest mind, he rejected you. He pulled away. He went cold. And now you're the one apologizing. You're the one texting first, checking his story, waiting, stop, because what I'm about to tell you is something most relationship coaches will never say out loud. Your silence right now is not weakness. It is the most powerful thing you can do. And the man who rejected you, he's about to feel something he never expected. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what happens inside a man's mind when you go quiet. And once you see it, you'll never chase again. Welcome back to the honest mind, where we don't sugarcoat love, we decode it. Today, we're going deep into something that almost no one talks about honestly, the psychological impact of your silence on a man who rejected you or pulled away. We're not talking about games. We're not talking about revenge. We're talking about the raw, uncomfortable truth about male psychology, why your silence after rejection triggers something ancient in his brain, why he suddenly becomes obsessed with someone he wasn't ready for, and why women who understand this never beg for attention again. This is going to be a longer one, because this topic deserves more than a 5-minute surface video. So get comfortable, and please watch to the end, because the final section is the one that will genuinely change how you carry yourself after rejection. Let's get into it. Why men reject and immediately regret it. First, let's understand something crucial. When a man rejects a woman or pulls back, it is almost never the full story. Here's what actually happens in his head. Most men are emotionally delayed, not broken, not evil, delayed. He can feel attracted to you, enjoy your presence, even care about you, and still pull away. Not because he doesn't feel it, but because he doesn't know what to do with what he feels. Men are wired to protect their emotional safety first. Before love, before connection, before you. So when things start to feel real, when he starts thinking about you too much, when you start to occupy space in his mind, his first instinct is often to create distance. Not because you did something wrong, but because closeness feels dangerous to someone who hasn't learned to be vulnerable. He might call it not ready. He might say it's complicated. He might just go cold without any explanation at all. And here's the part that hurts. He convinced himself he was fine with walking away, until you go silent. The psychology of silence, what happens in his brain. There's a concept in psychology called the Zeigarnik effect. It's the reason you remember unfinished songs more than songs you've heard 100 times. It's why a conversation that ended awkwardly stays in your head for days. The human brain is obsessed with incompletion. When you go silent after rejection, when you stop reaching out, stop reacting, stop being available, you become an open loop in his mind. And the brain cannot rest with open loops. Suddenly, he's checking your profile without thinking. He notices you haven't texted. He wonders why. He replays your last conversation looking for clues. He tells himself he doesn't care, and then checks again 20 minutes later. This is not manipulation. This is basic neuroscience. Here's what else happens. When you were available, always responsive, always present, he took that for granted. Availability, paradoxically, reduces perceived value, not because you're less valuable, but because the brain stops paying attention to things that are always there. The moment you're gone, your value recalibrates in his mind. He starts remembering the things he liked. The way you made him laugh, the ease of being around you, the specific way you looked at him, details he filtered out when you were still chasing begin to surface. And then comes the question that haunts him. Did I make a mistake? The 3 stages he goes through. When you go silent, every man goes through a version of these 3 stages. After a woman he rejected goes silent. Not all men reach stage 3, but the ones who were genuinely emotionally connected. Almost all of them do. Stage 1. Relief, days 1 through 3. In the first few days, he feels a strange relief. She got the message. Good, no drama, he goes about his life. He might even feel a small ego boost, as if the situation resolved itself cleanly. This is the stage where women give up. They see no reaction. They assume he's moved on, and they reach back out. Don't, because stage 2 is already brewing under the surface. Stage 2, the itch, days 4 through 10. Now the silence starts to feel different. He opens his phone and almost texts you. He doesn't, but the urge is there. He might check your social media. He notices you're living your life without falling apart, and something about that bothers him in a way he can't explain. This is where his ego and his emotions start to conflict. His ego says she should be reaching out. His emotions say, why isn't she? He starts to wonder if maybe you've moved on, if maybe there's someone else. If maybe, and this is the one that hits hardest, maybe you were more than he let himself believe. Stage 3, the reckoning, week 2 and beyond. This is where real psychological discomfort sets in. The man who is not ready starts asking himself uncomfortable questions. What did I actually walk away from? Why does it bother me that she's okay without me? Is it possible I made this decision too fast? This is when you'll often get a text. A random hey after weeks of silence, a reaction to your story, a comment that seems too casual to be accidental. And here's the truth about that message. It's not just curiosity. It's a man who has been sitting with an open loop and finally cracked. His silence broke before yours did. What your silence actually communicates, here's the part nobody tells you. Your silence doesn't just affect him, it transforms you. When you go silent after rejection, you are making a statement without words. I am not available for inconsistency. I am not someone who chases. I know my own worth, and I don't need your validation to move forward. That is not a game. That is self-respect in action. And men, especially the ones who are emotionally avoidant, are deeply drawn to that. Why? Because emotional unavailability in a man often comes from a deep fear of someone who needs him too much. The moment you show him you don't need him, you become exactly the kind of woman he's afraid to lose. Your silence also forces him to sit with his own choices without the buffer of your presence. When you're still there, still texting, still checking in, he never has to face what it would actually feel like without you. You're doing the emotional work for him. When you leave that space empty, he has to fill it himself. With his own thoughts, his own regrets, his own questions, and that is far more powerful than anything you could say. The traps. What not to do before I tell you what silence looks like in practice. Let me be real about the traps. Trap 1. Performing silence. Going quiet while constantly checking if he's noticed. Posting things specifically to make him react. Going silent and then breaking it the moment he responds to a story. This isn't silence, this is a performance. And emotionally intelligent men can feel the difference. Real silence is when you're not performing for him at all. When you actually shift your energy inward. When the silence is about you, not about his reaction. Trap 2, waiting. There is a difference between going silent and waiting for him to come back. Silent with an agenda is just suppressed chasing. Real silence means, I am moving forward. If he comes back, I'll evaluate from a place of clarity. If he doesn't, I have already started building something better. Trap 3, breaking too soon. This is the most common one. He hasn't reached out. It's been 2 weeks. You're doing well. And then one small trigger, a song, a memory, a moment of loneliness, and you send a message. And just like that, you handed him back the power you had spent 2 weeks reclaiming. Hold the line. The truth about what you deserve. I want to say something that might feel uncomfortable. Silence after rejection isn't really about him. Yes, it affects him. Yes, it triggers his psychology. Yes, it makes him rethink. But the deepest gift of going quiet isn't what it does to him. It's what it does to you. Because every day you spend not chasing someone who chose to walk away, you are training yourself to believe something more important than any outcome with any man. That you are enough, without explanation, without proving it, without waiting for someone else to confirm it. The women who stop chasing don't just become more attractive to the men who left, they become more grounded in themselves. They stop building their days around someone else's attention. They rediscover who they are when they're not performing for validation. And that version of you, that is the most powerful version of you that has ever existed, that is the woman who stops attracting men who need to be chased, and starts attracting men who show up because they genuinely don't want to lose her. That's the shift. So here's what I want you to take from this. His silence before yours, that was avoidance. Your silence after his rejection, that is power. If this video hits something real for you, if you've been in that cycle of waiting, chasing, wondering, save this. Come back to it on the hard days. Drop a comment below. Are you currently going through this? Where are you in the process? I read every single comment on this channel. If this helped you, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. And subscribe to The Honest Mind, because this is exactly the kind of honest, deep conversation we have here every week. I'll see you in the next one.